It's Friday. Welcome to Your View. I am Mariah Afolabi Brown. As always, I have the ladies with me. Hello, Taka Makadiki. How you doing?
I'm good. Grateful to God for life. Since last week Monday, it's been really, really heavy on my mind. I'm a partner for Joyce Meyer Ministry, and we got a mail that they're trying to raise funds for the flood victims in Nigeria. I got that mail last week, and it occurred to me, like, why is Joyce Meyer raising funds for flood victims in Nigeria? And I had to go and read the data of the challenges faced by people due to the flood that happened across different states. And we all know, in case you don't know, 600,000 people were affected, over 1 million people are affected. And I am raising funds with a group of people to give food to the people there. So I spoke to Mariam. Mariam had a friend who was personally affected by this in Kogi State, and they're trying to help us see people that we can help. I'm starting with 100,000 naira. I've reached out to a few friends of mine, and we're going to hit 1 million, which will help us take care of at least 100 people. But we want to take care of 1,000 people within Kogi, within Benue, and within Delta State. I'm going to post the details on social media. If you are interested in helping us provide food, we're giving rice, beans, gari, and palm oil to 1,000 people within Kogi, Delta, Benue states. And if you want to support us, if you want to bring the food stuff, that's acceptable as well. Let us see how we can provide help. We shouldn't be waiting for foreign ministries to come and be helping us when we can rally around each other. That's my banter for today.
Fantastic. Nice.
Okay.
Well done. Good. How you doing, Mujibadi?
I'm well. Good to see you again. Good to see you.
Good to see you for the first time.
Well, I don't have any. Well, I mean,
Course.
and I feel bad because I don't have any course I'm chasing this morning, but I'm happy it's Friday and I'm looking forward to tomorrow because I'm going to my alma mater, Covenant University. We're 20 years old.
Really?
Yeah.
Covenant is 20
Yes,
years.
20,
Wow.
20 today, actually. So tomorrow
Wow.
we have this thing so we're Eagles. When alumni, we call ourselves Eagles because we're actually Eagles, like we fly. So we have Eagles Summit with Papa Bishop Oyedepo tomorrow, and I'm looking forward to it because I haven't been there in a while, over 9 years.
Wow.
So I'm really looking forward to that
See all
because I'm
your
also
old
hosting it and
friends.
seeing old friends and seeing Papa again. Gosh, I'm really excited.
that's Pastor, that's
Bishop
Bishop.
Oyedepo,
Oh,
sorry, we call him
nice.
Papa. So I'm really excited.
Oh, fantastic.
Looking forward to that.
You Papa's children.
Yeah.
20 years of pursuing a vision.
Yeah,
Really,
that's
really
good. That's fantastic. Covenant.
Mariah, what's the plan
Yeah.
for you?
Today is Friday.
Yeah.
I'm meeting with an old friend. I haven't seen him since university back in Rutgers. In the US, he's around. Also having lunch today. Just to meet somebody
Nice.
from the past. Just say hello, have lunch. Then this evening, I'll be hanging out with a few friends. We're thinking of doing a few things. But and I'm really happy that you're giving back to the community because it's really sad that when this thing happens, we don't even think about giving back. We don't think about helping them. We just talk about the news. Oh, government did not do this. Government did not do that. We forget that they are human beings affected by this
Many
conversation.
people didn't even know it was that bad.
Do you know?
I spoke to 10 people in my class. They didn't, something happened, but they didn't know it was that bad. They didn't know the gravity of the situation.
But it's not even about that. The fact that it's not organized for us to know, okay, we have 10,000 have been displaced. This is where they are staying. Please, we need help. You know how Red Cross back in the day, we're always on ground. Or is it, what's the other one? Something Without Borders. They're always on ground.
Doctors
They're always
Without Borders.
around to help this kind of victims. So you have an idea, okay, these are the numbers we're looking at. These are the IDP camps that they're staying in. Stuff like that. We don't have that information about those who've been displaced. We just know some have been displaced. We don't know where they are. We don't know how to reach them. But it's good that you're putting something together. It's really important for us to begin to think of how to help those in need. Because no matter what, we are better than some people. We're able to give back. Okay, let's go on a quick break. When we come back, we go through the front pages of the papers. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Okay, we're going to start with the nation. Federal government halts deduction of CBN's loans to states. Picture here of a tanker burning 10 burned to death in Lagos-Ibadan Express explosion. APC presidential aspirants back Tinubu, says Adamu. U.S. plans $1 million humanitarian aid for flood victims. Stop your blackmail, speakers tell Omo Agege. Nigeria to launch Africa's first payment card in January. CBN AMCON announced sale of Polaris Bank. Okay, which story are we starting with? U.S. plans $1 million. Who has that story?
No, let me take the story of what happened yesterday. So, the protest took place, organized, of course, by...
The answers?
Yes. So the conversation that I wanted to highlight was why the tear gas was fired at them, because that was what I was hoping to quickly get at. But the walk was a peaceful walk, championed by Mr. Macaroni as well as Folarin Falano. But the conversation was the police explained that they fired tear gas, that the reason they did that was they arrested a few people. Protest that was gathering was supposed to be a peaceful process. There was coffins on the floor. They said a stitch in time saves nine. They were already gathering in the polling as opposed to a peaceful procession, because the conversation before was to drive through. But it became a gathering. Peaceful persons were allowed to move around without interference from the police, but some of them decided to become lawless by mounting the polling, the toll complex, and then they were putting coffins on the floor there, and that was why they decided to disperse them, that they didn't want it to become more rowdy or get out of hand. That was the reason for dispersing, and that for a long time they allowed them to do the drive-through, but
Okay.
basically, that's the...
I was going to take the picture story. So 10 persons have been burned to death, but the petrol truck burst into flames, actually, between Corn Oil Petrol Station and Shagamu Interchange Corridor yesterday. I think it was about 4 a.m. in the morning. It says the accident occurred after 4 other vehicles also were on top speed, ran into the truck and then set it ablaze. Excuse me. The fire caught a Mazda bus, which also caught fire with the passengers on board. So about 10 persons died instantly. Really, really sad. I think we even need more lights, more street lights. I'm not sure on that entire corridor.
Yes, there isn't.
Yeah, we don't have enough lights.
Even if we cannot power street lights, can we have reflectors? I've traveled, and you will see that there are some places where there's no street lights, but they have these little stickers along the road so that you will know your light will bounce off it.
Even trucks should have reflectors.
Yes, everybody should have that reflectors.
Reflectors, very, very important.
And it's another story, Mujibadi.
Yes, so Nigeria to launch Africa's first payment card in January, and I think this is really exciting. The Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, is set to launch Africa's first payment card, similar to those of MasterCard and Visa card. The payment card, which will come under the domestic card scheme, is to hit the financial sector January 16, 2023. Now, in a statement by CBN yesterday, Nigeria is a vantage situation, positioned to successfully launch domestic card. And now this transformation, according to the Apex Bank, has been driven by rapid digital and technological innovation, increasing mobile penetration, and the proactive policy initiatives of the CBN. And I think it's really good because you're catching up with the times. We cannot be behind times.
So the national chairman of APC, that's Senator Abdullahi Adamu, was saying yesterday that he is confirming that the other aspirants that were jostling for the presidential ticket of the APC are in good terms with Asiwaju Bola Tinubu. Remember, there were speculations that, especially the vice president, I've not been seeing him around. People are going to be observing by 3 p.m. today because there's going to be a launching of their presidential campaign council today at 3 p.m. Many reporters were speculating that, are you sure that other aspirants who tried to take the ticket are in good terms with the party and they are still part of the entire team? Adamu said, yes, they had that. None of them have said anything again. According to his best of his knowledge, they're in good terms, and I know journalists and reporters will be observing at 3 p.m. today to see, especially if the vice president
how things would flow.
will be there, because that's really the person they're asking questions about.
I want to quickly take the story of Polaris. Polaris Bank has been embroidered in this crisis of funds and ability to be stable.
Yeah.
But now it's official. The House of Representatives has already signed off the sale of Polaris Bank to Strategic Capital Investment Limited. They had paid 50 billion naira before as a upfront consideration. And the part that I really want people to be comfortable with, because I own an account in Polaris and people are concerned when they hear sale taking place, is that there is a full repayment of the sum of 1.3 trillion being the consideration bond that there was a lot of financial injection to stabilize the bank during the crisis stage by CBN. All of those funds will also be refunded to the government, and the structure has been put in place to ensure that there will be seamless transition, according to what I read in papers.
Okay. The Punch. Government may sell TBS, NIPPS, 25 key assets. Hashtag NSAS Youth Demand Justice, Police Tear Gas Protesters. 13 die in Ogun. Lagos crashes, FRSC blames night travel. Kogi gets first derivation allocation as oil-producing state. Congratulations to them. We've lost our most valued crude oil buyer, says federal government. Kanu, a flight risk, federal government tells Supreme Court. Amcon sells Polaris Bank at 50 billion naira, and national carrier domestic airlines project Nigeria and Ethiopia deal. Okay, which story? You know, yesterday I took a story concerning the fact that Nigeria would be looking to to cover the 10.78 budget deficit. Looking at doing that with domestic loans and trying to sell some assets. Well, in the papers today, they are looking to sell TBS, that's the Balewa Square.
Really?
Yeah, and a few other national assets, you know, because we are saying, where are they going to get, when is domestic loans, where are you going to get it from? Domestic asset purchases. Those are some of the assets they're looking at to purchase. And he said that there are no bidders yet, but they've registered the assets with the BPE, that's the
How do we know the valuation?
And then we're going to be seeing how that happens. But I don't know. I'll read the article, but let's take another story in Punch.
What story? Okay, because I have the answer story. But
Oh, okay. So inflation risk. We've been monitoring the story. We all feel the impact of inflation. So, but IMF is now giving us in clear terms the risk of instability brought about by inflation in Nigeria as well as sub-Saharan African region, worsened by the food crisis, the food insecurity that they fear. He said, according to the paper, he said, even though the rise has been less dramatic than in other parts of the world, the drivers are different. Inflation has nearly doubled from pre-pandemic levels, risking social and political instability and worsening food insecurity. And they're just informing us that as a government, we need to do more to plan ahead. Yeah. Also, we have the flooding as part of the issues that are going to increase food insecurity. So by contrast, they said only modest increase in food prices in other developed countries. They are having their own inflation, but we are facing it more with food and basic things. Finally, the conversation ended with examples of Ghana, Malawi, Mozambique, Nigeria, Ghana, and all others, and the Economic and Monetary Union for both Central and Western Africa. We need to work together if we're going to solve the problem of the inflation crisis we're facing right now. Okay, so let me just go back to that story on the budget deficit I was saying earlier. So sources at the Ministry of Finance and Budget and Planning said that the federal government was considering selling or concessionaring the Tafawa Balewa Square in Lagos, as well as the National Integrated Power Project in Calabar. The government is also planning to sell or concession all the hydro power plants across the country, including Onya, Lower, Usuma, Katsina, Ala, and Giri plants, and 25 others of such projects. According to the report, the federal government has mulled the sale of assets since the time of when the former minister, Kemi Odeosun, was also in office, where she confirmed that Muhammadu Buhari's regime readiness to sell all the national assets to raise funds. So the truth is that we are having revenue issues, and the government is planning on selling some of our major assets to get this revenue. I also have the story of, do you have another story in Punch?
It's still the same NSAS protest. So, you know, just to add to what she said, in Punch here, we have a report that even peaceful protesters were shot at yesterday. So 2 years after, it's still the same thing. Yeah.
I didn't get that
so there's a Juwon Sonyaolu that says, you know, peaceful protesters were manhandled by the police and then were violently assaulted. Some people even collapsed. And then they haven't released some people from 2 years ago. Yeah.
Okay, let's go on a quick break.
The police is saying they have released them.
Let's go on a quick break. When we come back, we continue with our review. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. There was still one more story in Punch I was going to take. The chief executive of the NMDPR, that's the midstream and downstream petroleum industry, was saying, that's Mr. Farouk Ahmed, that as sweet as Nigeria's crude oil is renowned to be globally, we have recently lost our most valued customers, and our gas buyers are now competing with us because they also are beginning and now competing within the same market as suppliers. So those who used to buy gas from us are now becoming suppliers themselves. So all this points to the fact that Nigeria has to continue, if Nigeria is going to continue to benefit from its vast petroleum resources, we need to begin to invest and build sustainably in our oil and gas value chain. So that's of course,
we're celebrating Kogi getting crude, getting money from derivative from the crude oil. Nobody should celebrate all that. Let us think of how we would now use any fund we get to ensure we sustain.
Moving on to Vanguard very quickly. Out-of-school children hit 20 million as poverty and insecurity worsens. $176 billion modernization project stalled as promoters battle federal government customs in court. Liz Truss resigns as UK Prime Minister after 45 days in office. Customs boss worries over meeting $3 trillion revenue target. Interpol arrests 70 suspected fraudsters linked to Black Axe confraternity in Nigeria. Politicians would find it difficult to rig the 2023 elections, says IGINI. Alleged fraud, ex-Lagos AG Shashori Radreid granted 50 million naira bill. And we're under attack, LP chairman cries out. Okay, what story are we taking?
Okay, so the politicians will find it difficult to rig 2023 elections. So former President, Electoral Commissioner of the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, in Akwa Ibom said, Mike Igini said yesterday that the 2023 elections will not be business as usual for politicians that are hoping to engage in malpractice. And then he says with the new Electoral Act that a lot of things have been put in place and it has already been implemented and it will be very difficult to rig elections and people who are planning ahead of time to manipulate the process that they are in for a big shock. They're also focusing on voters' education, which is very, very important ahead of 2023 elections. So we're looking forward to a good time, hopefully.
Another story?
So UNICEF. The UNICEF report, they've been updating us. UNICEF is the United Nations Children's Fund, has said that about 64% of Nigerian children between 0 to 5 years do not go into any early education, any early childhood education. Globally, though, the statistics is that 1 in every 3 child gets to go into early education, but we don't have that opportunity in Nigeria. And the organization's education specialist, Yetunde Toyosi, was saying this at Sokoto in a 2-day dialogue on children education, talking about Child Rights Information by Child Rights Information Bureau, and the conversation was around how we can engage and get more children, improving the percentage even by 5% of the 2%. Many states also do not get the UBEC fund, and the idea of the UBEC fund, Universal Basic Education, was to provide states with funding, but they're supposed to provide counterpart funding, and many states don't bring their own counterpart side. So if they bring their own fund, they can unlock more resources to help them improve the education across their states. But this is a challenge that we need to deal with. Uneducated Nigerian citizens would mean that they are uninformed to make right decisions in future. So we need to improve the statistics.
Okay, so I had that story, but I guess I'll take the Interpol.
Oh.
So the International Criminal Police, Interpol, says that it has arrested 75 persons linked to the Black Axe cult in Nigeria. The report said that the global operation, codenamed Operation Jackal, specifically was against the Black Axe fraternity. The operation involved about 14 countries from across 4 continents from September 26th to September 30th. Interpol said that they described the group as one that is rapidly becoming a major security threat across the world. Black Axe and similar groups are responsible for the majority of the world's cyber-abled, some financial fraud, as well as many other serious crimes, such as, they didn't even give the examples here, but quite a number of international crimes, especially regarding fraud and money laundering, has been linked to Black Axe. In South Africa alone, according to the report, 2 suspects arrested were wanted for the $1.8 million from victims that were arrested. So Black Axe, that's serious allegations against Black Axe.
And it's a coordinated effort, and I was happy that they were able to seamlessly pick out those that they needed to.
Are we done with Vanguard?
Flooding, I think the flooding is also in Tribune. The flooding, based on the flooding challenges, the story I've been taking, they said 2.8 million people are affected across the country, and the United States USAID has committed $1 million for immediate humanitarian support. Now, the reason I took the story is not because they are giving us money. The reason I took the story is because most of the time when aids come to the country, half of the aids actually go into agencies that are used to deploy the funds. We cannot be waiting for the United States $1 million, and some states might be waiting that, yes, I said they will give us $1 million, so let's wait for them to bring it. No, we need to think within ourselves, resources within what we have, to help ourselves and stop waiting for foreign donors to submit their funds to help us to deal with our issues.
Okay, let's move on to Tribune. Anyalco 2023 poll crucial to Nigeria attaining its dream. Relief to states as NEC set to review bailout prepayment modalities. CAN president will investigate members listed on the APC Presidential Campaign Council. 10 burnt as petrol tanker explodes on Lagos-Ibadan Expressway. Police dispersed NSAS protesters in Lekki with tear gas and water cannons. CBN Amcon sell Polaris Bank to strategic capital. 64% of Nigerian children lack access to childhood education, says UNICEF. Flooding, U.S. commits $1 million to assist Nigeria. And Boris Johnson may stage comeback as UK Prime Minister Truss resigns after 45 days in office. Okay, so let me start with the Khan story. The president of Khan, Archbishop Daniel Loko, has distanced himself from the just released amended Presidential Campaign Council of the APC. According to him, he said that in the statement that he expressed shock that the amended Presidential Campaign list of the APC has names of some of the outgoing officials of the Christian apex body. He now says he's going to organize an investigation to know why they are part of the Presidential Campaign Council. He says such development is worrisome because it runs against the well-known stance of Khan on being partisanship. And Archbishop Boko said that a full-scale investigation had commenced to ascertain how the officials of Khan became partisan politicians. I guess this is quite interesting because we know Khan has been vehemently against many of these partisan conversations, and to see that some of their members are now going to be part of the campaign council of the APC can be very, very disturbing and worrisome for them. Okay, let's take another story in the Nigerian Tribune.
Yeah. So there's a bit of political instability. And we yab ourselves that Nigerians we insult our own government. But we're seeing the same thing in UK where a lot of crisis is going. There's a lot of political instability. Now, former Prime Minister Truss resigned after 45 days in office. And there's speculation that Boris Johnson, who was the one before, might be coming back. Saying that he's going to join the protest against Liz Truss, and he might be contesting again to become the new prime minister. What does that mean for Nigeria? Nothing directly, but it just means that there's a lot of instability going on there. We shouldn't expect help from anybody that is also facing their own challenges. We should look within and solve our own problems.
Any other story in Tribune?
No, I think she's taking one.
Okay, that's all we can take on Front Page Review. When we come back, we want to bring in our first guest. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. Our guest today is the outgoing commissioner for special duties, and is going to be the soon-to-be commissioner for physical planning and urban development. That's we have with us Engineer Tayo Bangbushi. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Bangbushi Martins.
That's right.
To the show, sir. Good to have you. So, as an outgoing commissioner for special duties, we heard that there's going to be quite a few launches of fire stations coming up very soon. And we're interested in that story because in the recent times, there have been issues of not just building collapses, but fire, shops getting set ablaze, or maybe tankers. Even just, we saw read in the papers today that a tanker went ablaze on Lagos-Ibadan Expressway. Stories of fire incidents across the state. Tell us the need for these stations and how you plan to launch, and what do you plan to launch in coming days?
Well, thank you, and good morning again. Thank you for having me. Let me first make a correction quickly. Yeah. Outgoing Commissioner for Special Duties and Intergovernmental Relations, but I am already Commissioner for Fiscal Planning and Urban Development.
Okay.
Now, hearing what you've just said, all of this falls under the armpits of what we call safety and emergency management. Okay. I don't like using the word disaster management, but that's what it is really. So we say emergency management. And this is how it goes. When the administration came in, one of the first things we did was to do almost what you call like a diagnosis of the situation, looking at where we are in terms of the infrastructure, the resources we have, and even the level of service that we can offer in the emergency management services. So what we did was, we did what you call a roadmap. A roadmap for the fire services, a roadmap for Lagos State Emergency and Management Agency, and a roadmap for Safety Commission, because these are the three agencies that fall under the purview of special duties and intergovernmental relations. So from the roadmap, then we came up with what you call a gap analysis, where we're able to see what is lacking, what is missing, what needs to be done to upgrade our level of service and get us to where we should be. When we talk about upgrading, really it's just about prompt response, our response time, how we're able to respond quickly to these emergencies, because that saves more lives. It saves properties. Because you've talked about building collapse, fire, explosions, floods, so many things like that. And a lot of these things do happen, whether we like it or not. We say, God forbid, but they will happen. They do happen. Lagos State is a state that is heavily populated. And, you know, with success story, which is Lagos, there comes the price. The price we pay is in these areas of emergencies that occur. So we are saying, let's be proactive. We are expecting that it will happen. We don't want it, but it happens. So we want to be proactive and prepare for it. So, and that's what takes us to the issue of the need to ensure that there's an increase in infrastructure. We've been able to determine how many fire stations we require. Let's even start from the
How many
basics.
do we have now?
16. So that's what I'm saying. Let's start from the basics. The basics is 6 that we have about 20 local governments and 37 LCDs. So in truth, we should not have less than 20 to start with. And then in terms of our desire, we should have about 57 at the minimum.
So across the 20 and the 36.
That's right. That's what I'm saying. So we say, okay, we have 16. It's work in progress. We must keep building this fire station until we get to that point. So right now, we have about 6 in progress. And then out of the 6, we'll be commissioning 4 next week. That's what we're saying. So we get to 20.
Are they all spread across the local governments, or they are concentrated in certain areas?
Okay, the 4 will be commissioning. 1 will be in Lagos Island, because we didn't have anyone there. The only one that's on the lake, we didn't. The only one we had there, we only have there is Federal. There's a difference between the Federal Fire Station. And we collaborate, we work together, but then we don't have to wait and depend on them. So we have one at Ebute Elefu, Lagos Island. We have another one that's going to be commissioned by Mr. Governor. That's the fire headquarters here in Atalausa here. It's been upgraded. You know, you will see it by next week. The standard is
Top notch.
top notch. And then we have one in Jeremy, Ifelodun. We have another one again in Oniru. So those are 4. We have 2 others in construction. We have one at Ijede. It's under construction. We
The
have
sound of that. Let's cover some other areas.
Ijede, that's in the Ikorodu area.
Okay.
Then we have one at Ijegun-Egba. Do you know where that is?
I believe that should be after Alimosho. Ijegun, I know Ijegun. Let me describe. I know Ijegun. After you pass Sele, then you now enter down, right?
Okay.
I'm on the right track, sir.
You're trying. You're getting there.
Yeah, so I know that it's around.
But let
that.
me
Even
help
though
you.
it's a lake.
I didn't even attempt to describe.
Let me help you. Let me help you. It's closer to where we call the tank farm area.
Oh, yeah,
You have
fantastic.
a
Yeah.
lot
You
of
say tank farms, I already
farms.
know area. That's the Nima's area.
Exactly. So you understand it's
Oh,
strategic.
in fact, you need like 10 there alone.
They can't buy
Because
it.
Nima every day
You're right.
complains
Yeah,
that
you're right.
they have, we can't be having
No,
trucks
you're right.
there.
We're actually talking with the tank farm owners on,
To also
on-
have
to
their
also
own
have their
space.
own within that.
Awesome. Awesome.
So that's that. And then that's in the area of infrastructure. And then again, the governor, you know, he's very serious. It's priority for him. Emergency management is priority. Rightly so anyway. So there's been a procurement of 62 firefighting vehicles.
Okay. That's the trucks.
The trucks,
Okay.
the area ladder, the water tankers,
nice.
the trucks, you know, they complement each other.
Yeah.
So we are going to commission about 62
Wow.
next week.
Really?
By the way, we're going to have a roadshow on Sunday.
Oh, wow. So they're going to be driving around town.
That's right.
From where to where? So we can come and take pictures.
That's what I'm telling you. That's what I'm telling you. You know, so we hope that on Sunday we'll be able to take them around, you know, show them, let people see where the money is being spent. Look,
62 trucks. Wow.
there's a whole
That's a
lot to
lot.
be done.
Are they well kitted, your firefighters?
Standard.
Oh, yes.
And well trained.
Oh, no, in fact, I was about to get to that. The governor employed about 100 late last year. They went through training. And then we have another 435 that will be graduating. So altogether, since last year to now, we are going to have about 535 new firefighting people, officers.
So
There's going to be a parade next
Yeah.
week
Okay.
because it's going to be a passing out parade
From
and
where
all
to
that.
where, so that we can, can we
No,
watch?
no, no.
Or it's
Yes,
just
you
gonna
can
be-
watch. We invite you. We'll give you the cards.
will it be streamed live? Can
Yes, it
people,
will.
Okay.
It will be
Nice,
streamed
nice.
live.
Okay,
So
go
they're
ahead.
going to, it's going to be
Go
a
ahead, Ms.
march
Reddy, when
past
the
and all that, It's going to be a ceremony.
Yeah.
And the whole idea is that, oh, by the way, the first day will be at Marriott.
Okay.
We call it an emergency day. That's to kickstart everything.
Right.
And that's on Tuesday next week. It's an emergency day. We're going to have symposium and all that, speakers, panelists, and all that.
So my next question was, let me just ask, I don't know if you're going to address it. So
Yes.
given the population density in Lagos State, what provisions are we making with all these trucks to also just, educate Lagosians on how to on fire prevention, so much more than, getting these things so that, we can also from our back end work alongside government.
Yeah. Advocacy has been one of the things that we've always, and we keep doing it. We keep doing it, talking to the people, having programs like this, going to the market, town hall meetings, community engagement, and all that. We've been doing that. And the message is simple. One is that we need to be emergency and safety conscious. That's why we have Safety Commission doing a lot, collaborating with fire services.
But at the event at Marriott, will that also be a segment of the program to actually enlighten people?
Oh, yes. It is part of the focus. It is. And
My-
also an opportunity to showcase the work that has this. It's like a rendering of stewardship. Of this
I like the
administration.
sound of it. But for me, one thing is to have all this beautiful infrastructure and have these fire trucks and firefighters. When the fire does happen, our issue is timing. What time do you get there? What are the emergency? Are they working, the emergency numbers, for us to call and know that within 5 minutes or, less than
Or
5
less.
minutes, the trucks are coming through, or they have a partnership with either last or whatever to clear the roads. How do you ensure that these are properly utilized and they are fit for purpose?
The first thing, like we said, is to station these things everywhere.
Yes.
That's the first thing, and that's work in progress. The second thing is our command and control center,
Yes.
where we have the response to 112 and 767, the emergency numbers.
Yeah.
And the moment these calls come in, immediately they're escalated to the appropriate agencies. It's like SEMA, it's the fire services, and a lot of times they collaborate, they work together. And in terms of response time, yes, I must tell you that it is work in progress. It is work in progress because, of course, we have the problem of traffic here and there. But then let me speak to the public and take this opportunity to say, look, when we have a situation where you see a firefighting truck or an emergency vehicle on the road with the siren and all that, it is important that our people need to understand that they need to
Give way.
step aside, give way, and allow them to get there. A second thing, which you've always experienced, but it's gone down now, what I'm about to say, is that whenever they get there, you find hoodlums. I'm sorry that I have to use that word, hoodlums. You find people.
Good boys.
Well,
The
you
good
say
boys of Lagos.
Yeah, good boys. But how are they going to be good if they are stoning our fire trucks, stoning our emergency officers? Are they being good? No. So for them to be good, it's important that people should respect them. The minimum you can do is step back and allow them to do their job. So it is work in progress, but I can assure you, with new infrastructure, with new firefighting trucks, then with new training and all that, trust me, our response time will improve.
Okay, so what
tremendously.
numbers will Lagos State also just make these things very, communicate these things to the general public? People don't know, people are not aware that these things are, so
Are
we
you
need
sure?
to run campaigns. Yeah, a lot of people are not aware.
Okay.
So we need to run campaigns to just
Yeah,
educate people
I
that this
agree-
is in
I agree
place,
with
call
you.
these numbers, just make
Okay,
it.
so I think
Let me say, the numbers are 767-112.
Oh, how is it 121 or 112?
It's 112. Let me tell you what happened a couple of days ago.
767-112.
Someone actually called 122, and he was castigating us. I escalated because I felt, I felt upset
Yeah.
that he called 122 and he couldn't get a response. If I wanted to fish out the person responsible, by the end of the day, I found out that he called the wrong number, 122. So the number is 112.
767.
If you want, just remember 112 or 767, because
I think
sometimes...
And I think that we should set it up as emergency numbers on our phones, because by default, our phones are wired to call emergency numbers when we have challenges. But
Yes, we should do
if we
that.
save the numbers in our emergency, and many phones have this slot for emergency numbers.
Yeah.
I want to take you to a question of let's deal with the roots of the issue. Why do people not move away from the roads when they hear siren? Why do people feel like when crisis happens, disaster happens, and we see the fire trucks, why do we not respect the fire trucks? So the real issue is building the trust of the Lagosian to the system, like to trust that this system is trying to work for me.
Yeah.
And that is not by having lectures or meetings in Marriott or in a hotel.
Absolutely.
That is creating a culture that you start seeing people connecting with. And we've had it in Lagos where Lagosians felt the government knows and the government cares. I think it should fall under special duties to raise that awareness or getting people to be more connected to my government is thinking of me. When I hear the siren, it is for my good, not to clear me off the road.
Let me just ask this question. Is government, now we have 20, right?
Yes.
2 additional will be commissioned soon.
Yes.
Are these, have you considered ensuring that they are close proximity to markets? Because this is where we have lots of fire, especially on that Broad Street area, that's Lagos Island, that area. So with other markets across the state, are we ensuring that we're positioning these fire trucks around that area so that they can get to these people?
Yes, it is part of our program. Yes, we are. We're going to deploy them strategically. And also, don't forget that there's the usual fire hydrants, which we're working on also. That's part. But let me answer what you've just thrown up. It's a proliferation of the siren. That's what it is.
Yes.
When you have a situation where almost every Tom, Dick, and Harry are using sirens all over the place, people get upset. There's an apathy, an upset that you find people, and they just say, look, who are they? They've started again. Yeah. So how are you going to know the one that is real? Yes. How are you going to know the one that is emergent? Do you understand? So you find out people, that's what happens in such situations like that. But then you're right. The program for next week is not meant to address that. It's almost like a stewardship. It's like celebrating Mr. Governor for his work that has been done in the area of emergency. But then we will continue to work with the market women, the market association, the CDAs, and so on, in order to reach
I'm just going to advise, like the most effective way to make your job, the job that you just left, easy is to implement the law we have concerning sirens. Can we just go back and implement the ban on sirens only for those that are on emergency service, so that when we hear it, we only know that this is going
to happen. The law
exists,
it's just not enforced.
The law is there. Can we go back into enforcing that law? Because there was a government that did. It might really help.
It will make the work easier.
Yeah.
We have faster response time to even save the people that are in danger.
We have to wrap up, sir. Any final words?
Final words. The government is your friend. We're sorry about the trust deficit. The trust deficit has been something that has been on, and it's almost not peculiarly known to Nigeria. It's a universal thing, and therefore the government will continue to work to win your trust, continue to work to prove to you that this is an administration that cares about your safety and your security. But it is what I always call, I like one word I use, shared responsibility. There's a responsibility on our part, but there's also a responsibility on the public part to ensure that, please, be safety conscious, be emergency conscious, ensure that you listen and you abide by the regulations of the government, and then altogether, we will have a state that we can all be proud of.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, sir. And I think I would also give a word to all the artists and the Nollywood mood. Let's use that 112 in our movies. Let's use 112 in our songs. Let's use 112, 767. Use them. All the rapping about Yamala, Yalamala. Rap about 112. So people will stick in their brain that is the number to call in case of an emergency. In Lagos. Okay, that's all we can take on this segment. When we come back, we want our hot topic. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
So it's Friday. We're just talking and gisting. One of those we call it chewing gum days. So we found a story online that was really interesting. A particular man said that his son should avoid dating a girl from a poor background. According to him, in his own dating experience, most of them don't believe in love. They just want to escape the unfortunate conditions, actually. More so, they are saviors. They are the saviors their families are banking on to lift them out of poverty. So they don't appreciate little things. They believe you can do more. So in a nutshell, if you marry somebody that is some poor, from a very, very poor background, that person doesn't truly, really love you most times. According to this man, it's possible that that person is just looking for somebody, a ticket out of poverty, and then the entire family is likely to be depending on you. So the man is therefore saying he would advise his own child to marry within his own level or even higher. So these are interesting conversations because as silly as sometimes comes across, they're deeper than that, you know, because these are real things people think about. When you see you're dating somebody, you ask, who is her father? Who is her mother? Where are they from? Well, you know, they are assessing and engaging. Because the truth that many men today, they say they don't want liabilities. Me, I don't believe in that statement. They are just, many men, I think, they just don't want to lazy. They want that easy road. Let me just marry a girl that loves me and she's a high flyer. I'm good. What are your thoughts when you saw this? Let me start with this, okay?
Life is hard enough. Let's not complicate things with your relationship. Marriage is very, very important. In many cases, marrying right can set you up for good, and marrying wrong can derail your destiny, like, totally. So I understand when people are careful when it comes to marriage. Someone posted very recently, I went for the 10-year wedding anniversary, and the reason he was really celebrating his wife at 10 was because he knew that his in-law didn't want their marriage. He said the man said no. Why? What are you doing? Say he's a digital marketer 10 years ago. That wasn't a career. There was no option. You looked poor. You could not feed yourself. My daughter just graduated. I want my daughter to go into studying, I think it was customs or immigration. The man had already prepared her career path. And then you say she should get married and the next thing she'll have children. No, don't do that. I don't want you in my daughter's life. And I think every parent, when I first heard that story 3 years ago when I met him, I felt, it's not... But now, I have a few people that are in my staff that are dating. And when I looked at the men they were dating, my first option was, what are you doing? HR consultancy. Better go and get a job. Because I just want the marriage to be a complementary effort towards growth. And that's what this man is saying. When you go into a poor family, there is a lot of baggages that they are coming with, burden that they are coming with. And sometimes it would becloud you from enjoying the relationship as it is. You are having to pay school fees for our younger ones. You are having to take care of our parents' bills. You are responsible for them before you even find your own foot. So it's a conversation worth having, and I don't think we even discuss it enough. Where do
we put love? Where do we put love? I mean,
love can only happen when we connect.
We used to have love stories. You know, you fall in love with the houseboy, you fall in love with the driver. You know, these are lovely Nigerian realities where I love him. I just love him. I don't care what he has. You know, I just want to fall. You know, that whole love story. What happened to that? Are we saying that now there's no more love? You have to now start gauging and saying, okay, so what does he have? Where is she from? Who is her father? Who is her mother? What do you think about this? What are your thoughts on this?
On a lighter note, for starters, a famous philosopher once said, love is sweet, but when money enters, love is sweeter. However, I digress. You know, this man, I'm not happy with this particular tweet, and I'm just, opposing what she said. I remember one time when someone tried to introduce me to, my friend, a guy, tried to introduce me to another guy, and then so send her picture, say, I like her, nice, she looks okay, Is she rich? The girl, and then my friend replies, my friend then replies, oh yeah, she's comfortable. I said, no, I mean rich. I'm like, I just said, you know what? No, I'm not doing it. Even me, I was like, it's a no for me, because you're already judging me based on what I have in my account. What are you doing? Now, this man is giving an absolute statement, and I think it's totally wrong, because not everybody is like that. So the fact that you're from a quote-unquote poor background does not make you a liability. You might be grieving yourself. And I think that it's unfair to actually put out such an absolute statement to say that anyone who's from a poor background is automatically a liability. It's very, very unfair. It taints the image of people who were unfortunate to be born in a poor background. You know, so this one has put this one out now. This one I'm saying is true. When he then meets a good girl who is from a poor background, but is, doing well for herself, trying to help. It's not her fault. It was just life circumstances that brought her into that family. Stop boxing people and just giving absolute statement to say.
Yeah,
but you know, we can talk about the fact that some people, their agenda is to marry up.
Yeah.
Some people, their agenda is, I want to marry my way out. I want to marry my way out of poverty. Some ladies prepare themselves, package themselves, looking for the cash cow that would help solve their family problem. Some parents tell their child, their daughter, that look around here, don't pick any husband from this area. Don't pick any husband from this area. Go to where rich people stay. You know, if you go marry person for VI, you say go. And they deliberately package a lie so that they can appeal to such people. I think that it's extremely important that we address those people. It's not like I don't feel like it's right to generalize that statement.
Yeah.
But it's a reality for some people. I have been in situations where a little girl, a little lady, she's still single. Every money she's getting, Mariah knows this person. Every money she's getting, she's buying laptop for her younger sister. She's buying phone for her younger brother. She's sending money to pay for school fees. And I'm wondering, girl, you just got a job. You've not even gathered anything, but you are responsible for everybody in your lineage, and that is a burden to some men. It's scary, and we need to acknowledge it. A few guys I've spoken to, they are scared of getting married because they feel like the way girls are nowadays, everything, their entire life is your responsibility, and I also want to look good. I want to enjoy myself, and we must acknowledge them. So marriage is not a way out of poverty. Marriage is a way is a means of companionship, but for some people, it's a way out of poverty, and this man is protecting his son from being as a ticket to wealth.
Let me go on a quick break. When we come back, we'll take this further. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. We're still having a conversation on this marrying rich or not. And I think the question is, what is wrong in marrying rich? Marrying somebody from a poor family and say, you know what, I don't want this level anymore. I want to find somebody who can take me higher, who can help me, expose me to new things. And I will therefore take the responsibility myself for my family. But must we castigate somebody who is intentionally saying, you know what, I'm looking for a rich guy. Forget it. I'm owning this space. I am looking for somebody who can pay my bills. What's wrong in that?
For me, I think it's okay to aspire. I mean, aspire for the next level if that's what you want. So again, like what she was saying, it's okay for you to dream big. And if that's the line you want to toe, please toe it with your full chest and by all means. You know, but then she was also talking about how, you know, especially for females, you bear the burden of your family if you're from a quote-unquote poor background. I know someone who, as soon as she gets her salary, she's sharing. Do you take this? You take this. My mom this. My dad this. My younger sister this. My younger brother this. Like, there's just so much you can barely save. And so obviously a man who comes into that girl's life is already like, oh my God, like this is so much responsibility on me. Where do I even start from? Because then he takes up, because then again, the family then expects him to obviously, you're now marrying our daughter, you're our ticket. But again, I think it's also important to look at the kind of family background that the person comes from. There's some families that do not like it. Like, you know what, it's okay, face your husband, we will take care of ourselves. So look at what their standards are, what their morals, what the ethics in their family is. Like, are they people that are just lazy and dependent on people? Like, you know what, since you are here now, you're going to take care of the entire family. Some people are like, no, it's okay, we're not financially bare, but we'll look after ourselves, we'll work hard.
Let me take this call from Rachel. Rachel, are you there? Oh, we lost that caller. So, you had some comments?
Yeah, so I'm of the... my own school of thought is you should aspire for a better life. Every human being should aspire, at least leave the world better than you met it, but don't put that responsibility on someone else. So I'm not planning, I don't think anybody should plan to marry into wealth. I think everybody should plan to be wealthy. So if you're born into a poor family, I want to be wealthy. I want to make money. I want to end poverty in my lineage. I want to do this. But not that I want to marry a wealthy person. That should be out of the equation. If you level up yourself, if you level up your standard, you might have come from a poor home. But by the time you're meeting a rich man, you're no longer the girl from a poor home. You are an equally responsible, strong woman who has built herself. And that should be the right narrative. Of course, I don't agree with what this man said because we mustn't forget the narrative went and people like tweeting on all these things. No, it's true. Me too. I dated one girl. That was how. No, it's not really. That shouldn't be.
But let's look at it from the narrative of the family of the rich people. So we are now we have some kind of wealth.
We're rich.
We're rich. We have some money, right? And our son is now falling in love with a girl who maybe not so much. you as a mother, you're questioning her real intentions. Does she truly love this boy for who he is? Because you as a mother also, you're seeing, you can almost see past everything. So she's coming, oh, mommy. And like, oh my goodness, this girl is not you. But it's difficult for you to make a son understand that this girl is in for your resources, not so much for you. So that's the difficulty this parent is saying, that it's difficult for my son to really know if this person truly loves him, because it is clear. But if I see him with somebody at his own level, I know that, okay, she's probably there for the real
And
reasons.
that happens with wealthy people. When people become rich, they are unable to know if their friends truly are their friends,
Yes.
or they are friends
I'll
for
link
the
that
connection.
up. Yes, let me pause you for a second. Rachel has been holding. Good morning, Rachel. Are you there? Oh, I'm so sorry. Keep having her connected. So that's the point of friendship. Because, and I can link that to the other story of people say they rather trust the friends they grew up with, who knew them before they became a celebrity or something, than the friends they meet. Because they feel like everybody's trying to get one thing or the other.
them.
And I think,
Leverage,
yeah.
connect.
But again, you know, it's such a hard thing to be born into a poor family, because now people can't even trust your intentions. Like, what if I genuinely love this man and I was just unfortunate to be
I like
born?
the problem of, I'm so rich, I don't know who to trust, than I'm so poor, no people will trust me. Let everybody just walk their way out of. You know, that's the reality. But it is really, I like what you just said, is a tough place to be in, where you genuinely care and somebody is questioning your intention because they feel that you might be out for what you want. And that is really, really bad. One of my husband's friends, I don't know if he's married now, but I know like 3 years ago, 2019, we were talking to him and like, this big boy, this guy is really, really rich. He's in Computer Village. Very, very boxed up, very handsome looking guy. Oh, guy, why you never marry? I don't know. The babes I see, is just they're after my money. So he has become so rich, he can't know which girl is. And then he has this intention of this, if I'm dating this girl, I want to test her by not giving her money. And then the girls run away. Then the ones he gives money to, he feels they're just after his money. So there's a real confusion in knowing who your true friends are, and who really loves you when you have money. They say, like people, they want to eat with you, but they don't want to cry with you. And
let me take this call from Babs. Good morning, Babs. Are you there?
Good morning.
You're live. Go ahead, please.
Okay. I think from my own perspective, I can say this man is really worried about what he's already settled. What do I mean by that? Personally, at this age, you hardly see a rich man, son or daughter, marrying from poor family. They won't even meet. Somebody schooling in UK cannot give somebody in one local school at the city. So those gaps have already been settled. He's only been worried for what has been settled. Somebody schooling in one private university in Nigeria will not meet somebody in one public school. So they hardly meet. So he's only been worried for what has been settled. That's my own opinion.
Thank you very much, Babs. I don't also discount it as the place of love, because a boy that went to Covenant University, for example, can meet a girl anywhere, who didn't go to any university, and she's maybe helping her daughter, helping her mother to hawk, and you see her, she's really kind to you, and you just have a conversation, you realize, oh, she actually went to school, she can put sentences together, and you find her funny, she's witty, and you begin to have a relationship. Many movies, romantic movies. So the point is, where does that? So I want us to, because I don't want us to talk from the perspective of the poor family. I want us to look at it from the perspective of the family, who they feel that who feels they are wealthy.
Exploited.
How can they trust? Because that's the concern of this parent. How do I trust? How do I know? What do I do to know that this boy that this girl brought home is in here for real? Because it's happening a lot for rich kids, rich girls. A lot of men come to them because, your father is senator, your father is this. They can hook me up. That's young girls are finding it difficult to marry. I know a few young ladies, I think they're about my own generation, they're unmarried because it's so difficult to find somebody who they know that is there for the real reasons. Their fathers are rich, they're well connected, and every man that comes their way is looking for connection.
Am I meeting your dad?
They want Popsy's connection.
Of course.
So a girl is in that situation right now. How do I filter through all this and know the real one for me? That's the conversation. I'd like to open our phone lines. Please call us on 081 270-536-870 91 390-7694. Tweet us at TVC Connect. Please hashtag your view TVC so we can read your tweets. Let me take this call. Good morning. Are you there? Esty calling from Dubai. Good morning.
Yeah, actually, what I want to contribute is that
I want you to talk about most of the parents. They are the cost of the issue most of the girls having now. Because some parents will definitely tell their daughters that just like they are investing in their first daughter, maybe their first daughter or second daughter. So is the one going to take the responsibility of those youngest ones, which is very bad intention. So that is where people having the responsibility of taking care of the youngest one. So I have to pay school fees of my younger sister, I have to pay school fees of my younger brother. So most parents deliberately want to give that responsibility to their first child. That is where the problem starts. So nobody should be responsible for whoever, either your younger brothers or your younger sisters. So the people who brought them to this world, they should be the ones who are responsible for their needs, not their brothers or their sisters. So if your brother, if their first daughter or their first son, if you eventually have the consideration to do that, it should be something willing, not something should be responsibility of that child, either the first one or the second son or the third daughter. So
thank you, Esti. That's another
parents
perspective.
cause this problem.
Responsibility. So I think, where I would like us to drive this conversation to is talking to parents of these rich families.
Yeah.
Maybe if you feel that this girl or this boy is in it for the money, so be it. If she's marrying my son for money,
But
why is that a
if
problem
they
for you?
Really love. Okay, so no, I think that it's a problem because when hard times come, and there would always be hard times in marriages. To stand the test of that period is when you genuinely, the intentions were true from the beginning. So, but you mentioned a lady. And I've seen someone have that conversation that I don't want to marry someone that'll tell me first class is too expensive. Let's fly economy. I don't want someone that'll tell me because I cannot afford first class, you should fly economy with me. And these are genuine conversations. A lady that has all her life flown first class, business class, is now getting married, and because the guy cannot afford it, you are having to tell me to step down and bend and all of that.
Can't you bend?
So she's like,
if you love me, you bend.
I don't want that kind of life.
will
So
want
she's
it.
waiting for the man that can
Match up.
with her lifestyle, so that there will not be quarrel over money in the marriage. And I think sometimes it's important because if you're coming from two different worlds so far apart, every little thing that you cannot connect.
Your ideologies
you don't see the
are
same
just-
thing. I'm packing meats into my own food. You are looking at it and saying,
I only eat one in my
gluttony.
house.
You say like gluttony but it's not a big deal for me. When I grew up, we used to not have meat all over. So every little thing will cause problem because you
Right.
think differently. You're from different parts of the world, even if you live in the same country.
If she even
But
says
the
something,
parents
it will be
can-
pride.
But the parents can put some things in place. That is why rich families in developed countries sign prenup. We don't do it here, but we need to start doing it. Prenup means that you don't get anything from me regarding property if you divorce me. My parents' wealth goes to my children, not to you. You are not even the custodian of anything. Look, like, all the laws will protect it. Yes, I love you, but my parents have said we must sign this contract.
Yeah.
So the parents will feel comfort knowing that at least I have protected our family wealth from an interloper.
Let me take this call from Victor. Good morning, Victor. Are you there?
Yeah, good morning.
You're live. Go ahead, please.
All right, so, I'm going to pile on what the last caller just said, because it's really a true life story of mine. So, first of all, it comes from the moral upbringing. Now, to be poor is not a crime, but to how you bring up your children, especially the female ones, it's more key. So, so I had this ex that I was got married to, intended to do. And at the point, I had an issue in my business and probably a couple of accidents, so I need to start up another business. And then it was during the COVID era and all. So when I met her, she carried responsibility. Sending home, when her take home was not even enough, so I assisted, I did one or two things and thereabouts. But later I had an issue and I had to shift to another business entirely, and the whole thing wasn't forthcoming as it was. I started having issues. Presently, as we speak, she's no longer with me, and we have a 4-year-old daughter. And
It's so difficult to hear. The audio is really bad.
But I think he addressed moral upbringing, right? I think parents need to do better in raising, especially female children. Some parents just keep telling their mothers, especially, well, let's just say parent, keep saying, you know what, don't worry, when you get married, the man will take care of you, he'll do this one. And then you're already prepping her mind to not be as aspirational as she should be, even if she was going to be aspirational anyways. I have an aunt who, grew up in a rich home, flying this kind of, she started traveling maybe when she was 2. She's been very rich. She met this guy, they're married now. The guy is now, when he says stinkingly rich, but he wasn't at that level when they met. But he dreams. He was this person. At some point, she even had to work 2 jobs to cater for them. But now, she can conveniently sleep. She's still very hardworking and all, but she can conveniently sleep. But it wasn't so. Now, I think a previous caller had mentioned something about they never meet. They meet. But this is, again, I'm just linking it to another thing. This is why some females pretend. You go and you go and be claiming other people's parents because you're trying to meet up to a certain standard of the rich guy, right? So you are not really showing your true color because maybe you genuinely love this man, but his family will not accept you because they're already, so you're just trying to say, oh, no, you now say this is my uncle's house, even though it's not your uncle's house. You be claiming uncles that are maybe family friends, just trying to, because maybe you love, but the family won't see through it. They're like, you probably want my son's money because we're rich and that. And so you're just already at a disadvantage, first of all, because you came from a poor background. So
Let me take this call from Razak. Razak, are you there? Hello, Razak, you're live. Go ahead, please.
Yeah, I wanted to say this entitlement given to a son is a good thing. It's a good thing to give to a son. Hello?
Entitlement. Go ahead. We can hear you. Go ahead.
The sense of entitlement is a very good thing for a son and poor background condition. It's a train of a child when it grows, and when it grows, it will not depart from it.
Okay, right. It's a good advice. It feels like it would avoid entitlement.
Okay. All right, thank you very much. So I remember a story. There was a guy that broke up with me many years ago. And one of the reasons why he broke up with me was because he felt that I just had too many issues. That I was almost like a burden. Then I wanted to buy a car. I had some money. I think I had about 80 or 90% of the money, and I was not looking for the balance or 10%, which he'd give me, and then I'll complain that I don't have money for this. I was constantly lamenting on issues. Then, and during that period of my life, I was jobless. I think I lost my job. I didn't have things were difficult at home. My mom was there, but my dad was very sick. Every resource was towards his sickness, and things were really, really down and out. So the person I was dating at that moment in my life felt I was almost like a burden because every single time he felt that, Mariah is complaining, I'm constantly giving him stories of troubles, challenges, and our conversation was never positive. So the guy after was it, and see, it was nice knowing you.
I'm not happy.
Because, he broke it off. But it was when I was able to get out of that situation. And I started thinking that if I was a guy too, I would leave. Because all you are giving me is problem. I'm already thinking in my mind that, okay, I guess I'll be paying somebody's bills, I'll be paying hospital bills, I'll be doing this, I'll be doing that for this person once I come into their family. So sometimes also we need to talk to ourselves.
Yeah.
Let us be who we are. Yes, you might not be from a wealthy background, but let the person know you for you yourself. Don't try to create a facade of who you're not. Let them know you for who. If they now choose not to, it's because that's their own person. But let us not bring in out the problems of my older brother, my sister, my clinical education is this. That makes people run away from you.
I think you just hit the nail on what might be the divide between wealth and poverty intermarrying. Wealth and poverty, someone from a poor background or someone from a rich background can marry if the person from a poor background isn't carrying that burden and placing it on the next person, but is taking responsibility and bringing joy. Yeah. It's just that sometimes when if the two get into the same relationship, it might be a case of one person feeling like, why are you always lamenting? Why are you always complaining? That might be the reason it might not be working. It might be a character issue and not a background issue. Because if you meet someone and you're vibing positivity, you're vibing possibility, you're vibing growth, even though you don't have money in your account, We've seen cases where people, that happens in the men. Men will go and meet a rich babe and tell the babe that I will take you around the world. I might not have anything right now, but I'm going to fly you to the moon. We're going to eat breakfast in London and we'll eat dinner in Dubai. And the girl would fall for that guy. What did he fall for? What's the girl falling for? He's falling for the dream and the confidence. So sometimes the intermarriage doesn't work because the woman is coming like, come and just help my condition. And that's character is dulling the spirit.
Let me take this call from Tolu. Good morning, Tolu. Are you there?
I'm there.
You're live. Go ahead, please.
I have to call you on tomorrow. I'm 35 years old now. I've been watching you since when I was
Oh, thank you.
Wow.
Even those days before, much respect to software, for the software set and co, you know.
Yeah.
So the thing is, and this thing you are talking about today, you're talking about me, basically. Look, you are talking about from poor background and all that. I have a relationship some time ago that broke up because of this same thing. The thing is, okay, man, I'm talking for Yoruba. Like, I have family, I have people I have to look after, I have to take care after, I have to take care of them. So because I now happen to meet you in our past, does that mean that, okay, because you don't like this, you are not okay with it, because I want to date you, because you think I should not neglect my family because you don't like it? You just have to go. Some of us came from a family or a family setting where we just have to take care of people that God has had all our life. There's nothing I can do about it. So, I just really don't, I'm just trying to say that this is the reality for us, for some people. It's the reality. You are making the guest there and talking an example of someone that you guys have to pay salary, you have to give this person money. This is the reality of some people. This is the reality of some people. This same old woman, at one time or the other, many years ago, they took care of us in the little they have. So there's no way the girl just have to go. She just have to go if she's not okay with it. Because that is the reality. And it happens to a whole lot of people. A whole lot of people. So I
Thank you, Tolu.
Other partner just have to understand. If you cannot understand, then break up, end the relationship.
Exactly. Thank you, Tolu. I think that's a very interesting perspective. Let me take a few comments from Nima here. Nima says that he said the owner of the tweet is talking nonsense. Neither love or wealth is permanent, which is very true. A person you marry, I think. Then he says dating a girl from a poor or rich background is about how it affects his mindset. You can date for any reason, but marriage is another matter entirely. So it's about mindset. I think we're going to wrap up on this, but I think in a nutshell, we must be true to ourselves. The person who was rich today started from a poor background.
Nobody was born
wealthy.
Yes.
I mean, I think I saw that it was in a movie I watched that. Nobody. And I think this is Crazy Rich Indians or something like that. Nobody, Crazy Rich Asians. Nobody was born wealthy. You know, somebody sacrificed, or somebody took a chance on somebody. Somebody raised another family up. Somebody helped another family. Somebody married into a poor family and helped the family up. Somebody did something. So if it starts happening today, I don't think it's such a big deal.
Yeah.
If you're in a poor family and you feel that you're married to somebody who's wealthy and can help your family, I don't think there's anything wrong in that. But even as they do that, understand the sacrifices they're making. And I think there's mutual respect on both ends. It's fine. Somebody must lead somebody up at the end of the day.
Exactly.
That's it.
And I think for females, we just need to do better. Getting a richer guy or a rich guy is not your ticket out of poverty. So not like I meet you now the next day, I'm already telling you my phone is bad, my hair is bad, this one is sick. I just chill, just do better for yourself, then you'll find love, I'm sure.
All right, let's go to break. When we come back, we'll move on to another topic. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. Our guest is a Nigerian creative photographer, painter, a seasoned fine artist, and the publisher of a magazine called Mania Magazine. His work in photography and visual arts has earned him lots of international recognition abroad and locally, and with his light-hearted and easygoing demeanor, his unique style and mastery of aesthetics and creative lighting, welcome with us the veteran himself, Kelechi Amadi Obi in the building.
Yo.
Good to have you.
Good to have
Same
you.
here.
Yeah, you know,
I'm glad to be
heard
here.
of you. I've seen you in the past, but I've seen you physically here for the first time. It's such an honor to have you on the
Honor is mine.
on set.
Thank you.
So, photography in Nigeria has evolved over the years, and you're one of the veterans. In fact, you're probably one of the pioneers of this industry to make it a proper industry. How does it feel? 2022 now, there are lots of photographers out there who are doing great work. And how would you, in a nutshell, talk about the industry of photography? How has it grown in the last
Well,
decades?
it's exploded, really, I would say. We got into the photography space, I mean, when we were shooting film.
Yeah.
You know, and we've sort of walked through that process, the evolution from film to digital, and then from digital to the ubiquitous phone. You understand? But what has happened is all through those metamorphoses, there's been a multiplication of the need for imagery. You know, it's sort of become, as new media and stuff is coming out, the more the need, you know, for good photography. And with the digital, with the internet, with that space, social media, it's global. So then the quality just has to be the same as anywhere in the world.
Yeah.
You know, I do remember a time when we used to have this, this is the quality in Nigeria and then that is the quality abroad. But now the lines are very blurred, you know.
wow.
So what has happened is that, you know, the nature abhors a vacuum. You know, when there's demand for it, people will rise to the occasion.
So, I knew you before you went grey. And, you know, I was looking at you, when I saw you out there, I just remember a very adventurous part of my youth because I was modeling. And I used to model with Kesa Jabari, and then I used to model with Modella. And then we used to come to your studio, and it was just like, you are special if you get to be photographed by Kelechi Amadi Obi. Like, that is every model. Yes, every model wanted to be, you wanted to have your headshot, you wanted to have your picture by Kelechi Amadi Obi. And I've seen that evolution consistently over time. And we're living in a season where everybody feels like it should be like this. I should fall in love with something and I should just blow. And then I will start making the millions and I will remain number one. How has it been dealing with your people you trained, taking that space, your clients using them, life changing like that? How have you moved through that journey?
And still remain relevant.
Oh, well, I mean, I do have a philosophy in life. I believe that the true reality is in the moment, you know? And then they say, oh, wake up and smell the roses. And so for me, it's all about the process itself. You know, the process of creating, the process of living, the process of making things, for me, is an end in itself. That process then becomes my life, you know? So what I absolutely enjoy is this being in a constant search for the new and enjoying the process of being a student and the learning. And once you're like that, you constantly evolve. And photography itself is such a dynamic, you know, sort of business. It is based on technology. It is changing. Right now, we even have AI, you know, creating things. So, you know, if you are afraid of learning, then you stay in one place. And yes, you will always find the new talents. What is happening now is so beautiful. Every day, I'm looking at all these younger ones, you know, putting up really, really creative work. And what can I say? You know, it's beautiful. It's something that for me is at the core of what I set out, that maybe we can achieve this. Maybe we can change the look and feel of the continent of Africa and the way people see our people. And it's not by one person.
Right.
It has to be legion.
Yeah. Okay, Bridget.
All right, so when you're built such a global brand and it's very unique. So when you see a Kelechi Amadi Obi picture, you know, you can already tell that this was shot by Kelechi Amadi Obi. So how have you been able to maintain that consistency in excellence over the past couple of years? I mean, your journey's been decades, not years. It's been so long. So what's the drive to maintain that excellence and be consistent?
Oh, well, what can I say? It's all about setting standards for yourself. You know, so like to set very high standards. I always tell some of the younger ones, the thing is, it's a comparison between you and you, you know, but you have to say, okay, this is the best in the world at this. Does my work compare? You know, in terms of technical proficiency or whatever. But at the end of the day, creativity, again, is so unique that you have to find your own voice. So then there's really no serious means of comparing your work. So at a point in your creativity, you will develop the courage to be yourself. And once you're yourself, then there's nobody that can be compared. You know, then your work becomes this kind of thing that you can say, this is unique. And once it's like that, and the world accepts it, then you're getting into that space.
What's the future of photography, especially because there are lots of people that come into the industry, and when parents hear their child say, I want to become a photographer, then what is it? How much money is there? He's taking people's pictures. So people are still somewhat skeptical about career. I know somebody who is a Harvard graduate. He came back home and he told his mom, I'm done, get my camera, and now he has a studio. And the mother keeps saying, well, I don't understand. This child, he went to Harvard, right? He went to Harvard, you know, and he's taking pictures. So there are lots of people going, so what's the future of photography? How do we tell parents to encourage, can we encourage children to go into this, into this work, and what's the future looking like? Let's talk to parents today.
What can I say? You know, the future is good. I mean, I'm doing this, I'm taking care of my bills, I'm enjoying myself. I don't know how to put it, you know. But again, just like every other thing, nothing comes easy. The important thing you need to look at is the child enjoying the process? You know, once you're enjoying the process, for me, I believe that success is a process. It's a series of habits, you know. So if the child is enjoying the process, they will most likely, you know, succeed. Or rather, they've succeeded already. We're just waiting for the money to follow the success, you know. And so once the child has that passion, don't push them in a different path. Support them. And if you're afraid that they may not survive, look around you. You would find that the industry has completely, you know, gone to a different place. People are paying premium, you know, for their time and things. And the photography is so versatile that you can really get so many different streams of income, you know, from it, if you know what you're doing.
So everybody has a camera. And our phone cameras do wonders right now. There are things you can do with your phone cameras, tweaking and there are a lot of apps. There are a lot of, tech has improved a lot of areas of our lives, especially within the photography, videography space. And the question is, there are some jobs that tech has taken out, and there are some tech will take out. Is photography in any way one of those jobs that tech might take out?
Well, you know, at any point...
Let me just qualify that. So there used to be this, people, when they're doing news, the US, we see videographers carry the camera in helicopters to do, and now what do? Drones. So that job is out totally. So obviously, some will go.
No, absolutely. I mean, there is no doubt that technology will take some people's jobs out. I mean, like I told you, when I started photography, we were going to the dark room to process our film. You know, when the digital came in, you know, when the QSS machine came in those days, a lot of studios closed. They couldn't handle the fact that people have small cameras and they don't need to know how to process film. You just go to the QSS machine and get their 15 naira per copy done. Now, that took out a lot of photography. When digital came, a lot of people also couldn't handle it, you know. So at any point in time, when technology shifts, a lot of people, but one thing that technology will find very difficult to take away is the artistic mind.
That's you.
Is the artistic eye. Is the ability to create from millions and millions of experiences that you've had that makes you make the decision to point your camera in a certain place, put your light in a certain way. That thing is difficult for technology to replace. And that is what makes you an artist.
Interesting. I love it. How did your family... Let's go be personal now. How did your family accept this line of business? Because sometimes, I mean, when you started, I'm sure it wasn't one of the most popular careers to pursue.
Have this much money.
So did your family, were they always excited about it, or this is going to get correct job. This photographer you are doing is not going to be.
Well, I've always been a bit of a rebel. What can I say? My father was a high court judge. My mother was a teacher. Yeah. And in my family then, it was only two professions that were truly recognized. It was law and medicine.
Everybody's a family.
So I studied law.
Wow.
So I mean, what brought me to Lagos was law school. Right. But and I have not always been a photographer. I actually started as a painter, so that was even more difficult. I mean, so once I finished law school, I decided to start painting.
Really?
Yeah. So I was stubborn like that.
What kind of painting? Like painter?
Watercolors and oil.
So you never practiced law at all?
Well, maybe during my youth corps, I went to court a couple of times. But I had made the decision I was going to be an artist from my year 3 in school. But I just, I wanted to make sure I get called.
And your wife met you as a lawyer or as a painter?
No, I was a painter. I never really practiced law. From law school, I
was willing to marry a painter?
Oh, yeah. My wife was actually an artist. She studied art.
Oh, yes.
So very easy.
Perfect blend.
So, yeah, it was now she's an interior designer, but, it's a perfect blend. We met at an art exhibition, so...
nice.
So, yeah.
Sorry, we love these kind of stories. Was it like love at first sight, or it took a lot of prepping? Look at you already blushing.
Well, I mean, the truth is, I mean, the first time I saw her, it was very interesting, and then we became friends. We became friends over the years, support each other, talk about art and things like that. And then, after a while, it just occurred to me that this is my wife.
Oh, nice. Let's go on a quick break. When we come back, find out what you're working on. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. We still have the veteran photographer, Kelechi Amadi, be with us. I know you have something coming up. Could you tell us about that a bit?
Oh, well, I'm having an exhibition.
Where?
On
in Nigeria?
Yes, in Nigeria, in Lagos, on the 29th of October.
Oh, nice.
It's called Amazing Nigeria.
Oh, I love that.
Nice.
It's something I've always wanted to do. And, it's about... I sort of traveled around Nigeria and photographed the most amazing landscapes, and sort of selected the best images, 30 of them. That's what we're going to show.
Nice.
And, it's a journey I embarked on with a brand, the Macallan. They say, they're interested in, craftsmanship, mastery. What can we do together? I say, let's go around the country and photograph. Let's see if we can tell a positive story about this country. And, then I discovered Nigeria anew, going through some really amazing places.
Where did you discover that was really...
Well, I went into Ogbunike Caves, which is pitch dark.
We have somebody who's been there, Ogbunike Caves. I think it was now staff of TVC.
Bats everywhere, so I had to light everything. When pictures came out, it became quite abstract. Of course, we went to the mountains of Obudu, but when I went to Abokim Falls, it's got like 6 or 7 falls in one, which is amazing. And then went up north to Mambila Plateau. I've always wanted to go there, and...
I've heard of all these places. I'm looking forward to seeing your images.
I thought we'll see some of the pictures here.
How long will it take you to go around?
Where is the exhibition?
It's happening at Pan-African Center, Eco Bank. Eco Bank. That's on Ozumbamba. It's a new building. Really nice space. Nice.
So is it free for everybody to come
and
observe? Yes,
from the 29th, it's open for the public. We have a collector's preview on the 27th, but I mean from the 29th till the 6th of November.
But they must register or they just show up?
No, it's free.
Just show up.
Yeah, you can show up. It's free for people.
Would you be there to
sign
up?
Yes, I will.
What time does it start?
It will start from 10 o'clock in the morning, I think, end by 5 o'clock every day.
So let me just quickly take you back into photography, because this is an area of photography that we don't know can be monetized. You mentioned that there are different areas of photography, and we tend to just think that it's only portraits and events. But what are the other key areas that other photographers who are watching right now can look into?
There are so many. It's unbelievable. In fact, you know, the exhibition I'm having now is another section of photography where you are making a physical product. I mean, so you've got prints as limited editions. So you can have a full career just doing that, you know, shooting and exhibiting. So it's the photographer as an artist expressing himself.
How do you make money from exhibitions? I always wonder, like, okay, so you put all the lovely pictures, I go out there, do I have to buy or I just look at it, admire and go home?
Yeah, there are two ways. Okay. You know, there are people who have an exhibition where people pay to go and look.
Okay.
You know, then the other one is you have an exhibition where people buy the works. You know, the exhibition management where people buy. So if people are going to buy the works, then you make money from that, you know.
But then there's this issue of duplication. So if I want to buy a picture from you now, and I give it to one of my brothers to just go and duplicate, I go and sell it on the streets of Lagos and make money. How do you avoid that, or how do I pay loyalty?
But that's a very interesting question. I mean, very valid. You know, if I was discussing with one of my colleagues the other day, I mean, the photography as limited edition print industry is heavily dependent on trust. So when I say I'm going to have some of my works are going to be limited edition of 3, and then so you have limited edition of 3 images of that particular size, okay? And then you have the artist's proof. So when you sell 3 of that, you would never sell any other one. You retire that image. And no matter how much people offer you, they won't get it. So that is what makes sure that the work that those other people have collected has value. So it's based, so, and you know, you're going to have a certificate of authenticity. The work will be signed and numbered, you know. So those are the things that bring, I mean, it's been happening for, you know, many years in different parts of the world. So we need to sort of bring that, you know, to Nigeria so that people can have these objects. You know, each one has its own specific value.
Can you imagine? Well, all the time, and I'm just thinking NFT and all those other space. Like, there's so much happening.
We have to wrap up, sir, but thank you. I mean,
thank you
so
for
good.
coming.
I think we need to bring you back more because we need to dissect that industry. Because if there's anybody, there's so many opportunities that people don't know. And people, so we need to bring you back to help us get some kind of a workshop we need to do where we're educating Nigerians on this industry. Fantastic. Thank you so much, sir.
And thank you for having me.
Yes, so we'll stop by the exhibition sometime on the 29th and have a fabulous weekend. We'll see you Monday. Bye for now.